something moving through the woods.
All I can remember is flipping the light on, and I see this creature, and I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, in the whole night, this isn't a man.
And then this thing walks across the road, takes a turn towards us, and then leaps over a guardrail.
Went to look forward, and there was a big black thing, is all I can call it.
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, exploring the Bigfoot mystery each week with your hosts, veteran researcher, author, and TV personality, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, and from the Bigfoot Research Project of Kentucky, Chris Bennett. Sit back and buckle up as we bring you guests from around North America discussing the Bigfoot phenomena, but not without a few laughs too. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris.
And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, March 7th, 2021. I am your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective, Steve Kulls, along with my co-host down there. Yep, there is no innuendo about this guy. None at all. Mr. Chris Bennett, how are you tonight, Chris?
Doing good, Steve. Man, I hope you're having some nice warm weather up there in New York now, looks like. And we've been having some really good weather here.
We dropped another degree since we've started the show.
Oh,
it's 24 degrees.
Oh, well. Hey, that's better than zero, you know.
Yeah, we had that whole stretch where it was like -2, -3, but nothing really killer this year. So
yeah,
just cold. But
that's killer for me. That's cold.
Yeah. Of course, down there, past the point, we have our guest tonight, Mr. Tate Heironymous. No relation to Bob. I know one person asked me that, and I was surprised. And all the promotion, any relation to Bob? No, it's not even spelled the same way. No, not at all.
I get that a lot too.
Oh God! What did Jeff Thomas, good friend of mine. You've met Jeff, and I remember he had a picture with you and him together, and a great guy, just with a bad name stigma.
Yeah,
But,
it's the number one thing I always get asked.
Are you relation? I would say, yeah, I am, and he's alive. No,
it's funny. The guys in the Bluff Creek Project always tease me about him being my great uncle or something.
And you're crazy. That's my crazy Uncle Bob. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyway, let's do the roll call. Chris, let's say hi to folks that have plopped in.
Oh, yeah. Hey, a lot of people already in chat, I guess.
Of course, we got B. Hello, B. Always first in. Frank's in second tonight.
Frank, welcome.
Who else do we got? Well, let's see. Of course, we got the Bigfoot Society in. Hello, Bigfoot Society.
Welcome.
Mr. Tom Conley. And
welcome, Tom.
We got John Swan in. John, hello.
Good to see you, bud.
And we got Tessa. Hello, welcome, Tessa.
Tessa,
David Winter.
welcome.
David Winter is back.
Welcome, Dave.
Yes, he is back, and David Parker is back.
Right.
Hello, David. Good to see
David.
you. Now here goes the house. There's Mr. Jay Bachochin sporting the new shades.
Hey, Jay.
And
What's
Chris.
good?
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Yeah.
So, and of course, we got Tack
Tack. Say, Mike.
Yeah.
and Eric. Hello, Eric.
Welcome, Eric.
Ashley, good to see you. Who
Hi,
else?
Eric.
Oh,
Hey,
of
Ashley.
course,
Hi.
of course, we got where did we? This thing is moving already. Walt and Little Walt. Hello.
Welcome, Walt. Little Walt.
Hey, we got Squatch Talk in the house. Hello, guys. Sherry Lynn.
Squatch
Hello.
Talk. Hi, Sherry.
Doug. And hello
Hey,
to
Doug.
the SWPA group, Southwest Pennsylvania Bigfoot group. Hello back to you guys. We got the Bat Mom. Hello.
That's
awesome.
The Bat Mom. That's pretty cool.
Mom.
So anyway, that's the quick roll call right now. As new people come in, we may decide to harass them as they come in.
Glad to see everybody. Welcome, everybody.
And, heck of an interesting week this has been. Chris, we were talking about it earlier, and Tate, feel free to chime in on any of this stuff that we talk about tonight.
Yeah.
One of the things we like to do, if there's any newsworthy items,
I might pop in a vowel or two and just see what happens.
that's fine. You may even pop, depending on what the topic is, you may even pop in a bowel.
Right. Feel free to, add any, innuendo you wish to.
There you go.
Any innuendo.
Any innuendo you want.
Bodily sound effect.
Yeah. And of course, well, speaking of people getting harassed, there's Keith. Hello, Keith. Good to see you, brother.
Keith Worley, welcome.
And Mr. Jimmy Trickin.
Oh.
That is one hell of a hairdo you're sporting there, son.
It's pretty awesome.
I wonder what Mr. Wonton would say about that hair. Oh, but anyway, the news. Yes, the news. So allegedly, supposedly, this comes right from the Travel Channel website, a very authoritative site. The fine channel that has brought us the same network, family of networks that brought us the story about the mermaids and the captured Bigfoot. But, I can't yell at that much because I've been on those channels before too. So, in all fairness, but of course, this Expedition Bigfoot investigates yields unexpected DNA results. And we can go in about the propaganda about the show, but we're going to skip right down to apparently they sent the sample to the UCLA California Environmental DNA Program. And we have the project manager by the name of Miroslava Ramos. I'm not going to even try to pronounce the middle name there. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it Mepengwari?
Miroslava Mapengwari Ramos.
Good God.
The Mapengwari. No wonder they're.
We found it. Yeah. She writes it down.
And you got to apologize. Hang on a second. We got a couple other guys. We got Doug Lockhart in the house.
Hey, Doug. Welcome, Doug.
And hello to Topeka Flash, first time listener. Welcome.
Topeka Flash. All right.
And I know just to point it out there before I start with the serenade on this thing, we have a lot of new subscribers this last few weeks, and we want to welcome you all. And we have the greatest audience out there. They're really smart, ask great questions. So we're very pleased to have you guys out there, and we appreciate all of you. We love y'all.
Yep. I'm gonna say I'm a worst first guest to be the first time you listen to this show.
You'll be all right. Trust me. Trust me. Years ago, we had Eric Beckchard on the show.
Oh my God. That
weird.
That would be a trip. That'd be a trip.
Poop. I have that on recording somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to break that out, Steve. Some of the Eric Beckchard comments that he made on the show.
The funniest. Hang on, a couple of more names. Aaron. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you.
Aaron,
sir.
welcome.
And of course, we got Diane. Welcome, Diane.
Hi, Diane.
Now, Eric was a very interesting guest. He was a lot of fun. But I remember he said, well, I got one report of a Bigfoot wearing human blue jeans on the side of a road looking all haggard. I go, that wasn't a Bigfoot. That was just a hitchhiker.
Oh my God. Didn't Eric Beckchard film like a lot of homemade porn though?
No. Well, he actually filmed a Bigfoot, or took a picture of one, and then he tried to claim it. See, that's the penis.
So okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh.
in a form, in a sense.
Yeah, it was like, whew. But he went to Loch Ness, and he got a Loch Ness, video or film. Very interesting guy, long gone. A lot of people had issues with him because he was kind of a little obsessive compulsive about certain things.
I would say so.
Yep. So anyway, getting back to this DNA statement they wrote, it's very interesting because there's no report on it, just some comments. And it just says, we received soil samples from your team. It took a few months to get them processed. What we're looking at here are unique organisms that we were able to identify, which is very interesting because they said they were able to identify. Our software does what is known as metabar coding. So I'll match up the DNA sequences that we were able to detect and try to cross-reference them with thousands of genomes that have been published. And it's pretty common that when we're looking at environmental DNA samples, we detect humans because there's going to be human traces almost everywhere. But what I found very interesting was that, yes, we have detected human DNA in these areas, but we're also seeing different primate DNA. There wasn't just one human primate. There were several different primates, the sort of primate relative that exists in the data. Okay, that's kind of a roundabout way. Pan troglodyte is a species of chimpanzee. Yes, we know that, which you would not see in the areas you're at. It's a real head scratcher. It's important to note that the higher the detection, the more confidence we can say that whatever the organism, whatever taxonomy we were looking at, was apparent in the area. And in this case, we're looking at the pan genus, or the chimpanzee genus. There's 3,000 reads. The technology is constantly improving. It's getting more accurate, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So what they're trying to say is, or maybe, is they're saying whatever the strange DNA was, it comes back to the pan species. Huh. So what are they trying to say? A Sasquatch is actually a pan?
Interesting.
Yeah, that is.
You know what I'm reading in that, Steve, in that release? I'm reading they found human DNA and they found chimpanzee DNA. That's what I'm reading.
I'm pretending like I know what you guys are talking about. So.
Well, it said it was. What did it say? It said that it was pan. It was part of the pan genus, but it didn't say pan troglodyte.
Yeah.
So, which a pan troglodyte is a chimpanzee, but it's related to the pan species. Which, that's interesting.
Troglodyte's such a funny word.
And you see, here's the smartness of our group is, wouldn't it have an offset toe, big toe? And that's a great question. It's hard to say, Chris. Here's the reason why, and I brushed up a lot in the last few days. I've been doing my own little Bigfoot boot camp in my head in anticipation of a lot of things I got going on, and Chris knows about them. In the next few months. But the way I understand it is that even Homo sapiens, our early ancestors, had an offset toe, and we evolved for that offset toe to become an inline toe. So, and that had to do with our bipedalism. So you got to understand, the earlier, species, like I believe even Australopithecus or Paranthropus, had an offset toe. And then the reason why is that toe acted as what they call a prehensile toe. I mean, it was meant to grip and to stabilize. Yep. You hear a lot of monkeys and stuff like that having a prehensile tail, and they use that to grab onto things as well as stabilize them. Well, as we got bigger, since and we don't climb as much, as we got bigger and bipedal, our toe became more inline because instead of gripping, we needed the speed. And what happens is the difference between from what my understanding is, the opposable toe or the offset toe, big toe, was, like I said, its function was gripping. The inline toe is for speed and endurance. So, and that was something that changed apparently when our running became more of an endurance thing than just a sprint. And, and that dates back. I mean, think about, the marathon, the running of marathon. If you go back to the Greek history, the Battle of Marathon, which is where the runner ran, I think, 24 miles, which is why a marathon is 24 miles, ran to, I guess, the army, where the headquarters to call in for reinforcements. I don't know. I don't know the exact story, but that, in a nutshell, that's what it is. And without any innuendo, that's
26. I think it's 26 miles, Steve.
I'm sorry. Thank you. 26.
Yeah, one of my old commanders.
Well, me, the only time you see me running means the laxative. So
call me for supper. I'll run.
Well, that's true. Sometimes I'll run for the dinner bell.
No, I can remember that because we got in a new commander when I was in the Air Force, and we were all like, "Oh man, our last commander made us do this."
Our smart alien is not even correcting you. It's 26.22. Get it right.
Okay, okay, John. To be exact.
And Tom too.
But we got in a new commander, and
that's
we were
all.
all
I love our audience because we get something wrong, they'll straighten us right out.
That's right. We got in a new commander, and we were all, oh, thank God, because the last commander, he made us do all these physical things. Like every 6 months, you had to do your physical trials, and after you get out of basic training, you don't really want to run like 2.5 miles and crap, or walk 6 miles in 3 minutes or whatever. But anyway,
now I don't know if Tack was trying to text this to somebody or what, but he just said Stewart's for ice cream and smokes. I think that was, well, you know what? If you're going to listen to the show and go Stewart's for ice cream, you got to get monkey business.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Anyway, we were glad we got a new commander. All right, maybe he's going to ease up on us. And then on the physical part, then we found out he ran the marathons.
Oh no.
He would go to, I think he went to New York. He traveled to do marathons, and we're like, oh God.
Why didn't he just run to the marathons where they were at?
Yeah, really.
No, he ran the marathon. He ran to the marathon.
He ran to the marathon, then ran the marathon.
Oh my God.
And look who snuck in, Bob. Hello, Bob.
Welcome, Bob.
Hello.
But yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, when you come off the mountain. Stuart
Hey, dude, I can run downhill with the best of them.
See, now, every time Tate takes a swig of his beer.
Wait, are we playing a drill? I got half a beer left, so you're going to be a little tipsy by the end of this.
No. My cap is on the bottle. Are you kidding? There's nothing there. The cap is on the bottle, folks. They see it's on the bottle. I'm just.
He's not really nipping. No.
That'd be so funny, though.
That comes after the show. Well, anyhow, so let's
where were
I
we?
don't know what it's going to be, but I find that fascinating that they think it may be related to the pan species. If it's true, there's a lot of scuttlebutt about the authenticity of Expedition Bigfoot. I find it fascinating, though, that they've actually had some sort of statement from UCLA. So, and Chris and I have been saying this for a better part of a year about eDNA. If there's going to be a way to start breaking this down,
Yes,
it's going to, and it's true. They don't have a specific primer to lay out the genome to it completely. So,
well, yeah, they should be able to get a complete DNA. If they get some eDNA, they should be able to get a complete sample and say, okay, this percentage of it is pan, this percentage of it is matches with human, but it's not contaminated chimp DNA. It's actually a living creature. So, until a report comes out, all we got is hype for a new show,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's fat. I mean, maybe hype for a new show or a hype for another season, but
I think it's going to be hype for another season.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. But if they legitimately got something, I don't see them putting UCLA's name on this necessarily and be complete baloney.
Yeah.
But like I said, I haven't really gotten to dig into it to basically see if this person's legitimately that person. We do that, that's the kind of work we do normally is, I'm going to break the news story as it says on the Travel Channel website, but I'm going to start digging. And hey, you know what? We're either going to confirm that this person actually exists, which means, it's fascinating stuff. And Frank makes, if we recall, could be the Planet of the Apes. If we recall that wonderful science fiction story, the actual,
I'm actually rocking that shirt right now.
No, there you go. There you go.
Dr. Zayas, yes.
Dr. Zayas.
She was the hottest one of all the apes.
Ashley asked an opinion if I read Dr. Jeff Meldrum's book, Sasquatch Legend Meets Science. Ashley, I've read it a long time ago. I actually have a hardcover edition. I bought it like a day after it came out. It is a very awesome book if you want to know foot anatomy, if you want to understand. And that's why. And actually, the funny thing is that was part of my boot camp thing. Is I've been listening to the audiobook version of it in my car while I go to work back and forth. So I listen to it an hour and a half a day going back and forth to work, and so that's why I know very fresh in my mind about what an opposable or a offset toe does. Meaning it's a prehensile toe rather than an inline toe, which is built for speed. That's why it's all there. I mean, Tate, I'm sure you read it because you're nodding your head.
Yeah, I had Jeff Meldrum on my podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking a lot about that too. So I was like, "Yep."
I think if this thing was related to the great apes, we would have more tracks that look like. Remember the Yeti, the 1957 Yeti track, the Himalayas, where it had the offset toe. That's very, very.
And I myself have written a book. What would Sasquatch do? Oh God, right. Almost 9 years ago, I came out with that book, and it's about how primates habitate their behavior within certain areas of the way they live. And I put that in relation to what we see in a Sasquatch. And that was my main thing is why does a Sasquatch do what they do? Why do they walk off instead of being more aggressive? Or in certain cases, they are aggressive. Or in certain cases, they scream, or they may tree knock, or they may throw things. Well, that's all, what I wrote about is a lot of why they do what they do. So, if you want a quick little read, there's another one for you about a little more, may give you a little more insight. But Dr. Meldrum's book is by far like, if you take time to listen, and you're like, huh? You can't not read that book and not believe in the existence of these creatures. So anyway, how did you get started in this whole messy Bigfoot business, besides having a name like Hieronymous?
I think Hieronymous is kind of like in the it didn't really count, but I would honestly say circumstance just kind of had a big, factor in it. I was kind of a weird kid, and I just found weird things that I liked that just interest me. As like, hey, that could be cool. And so I would watch as much as I could. I was watching, I'm 27. So for me, it would be Monster Quest and Finding Bigfoot and stuff like that I was watching. And I was like, man. And then the Patterson Gimlin film was what really got my attention about the whole subject. I'm like, that's the coolest thing. It could be real. So that was kind of the hook for me and wanting to know more about this creature, really.
Now, let's get into this. I mean, you play a part in the Bluff Creek Project.
A little bit.
But still, you were there. You were there. I mean, you've experienced it. You've been to the site. So I haven't. I know Chris hasn't. So,
Bucket list.
huh?
Bucket list. I want to go to the site.
Bucket list. Excuse me. So let's start with that. How did you get kind of hooked into the Bluff Creek Project a bit?
I lived in California for four years, and I want to say it was 2016. I had my dad and a couple friends of ours. We went to Bluff Creek, California, in the Bluff Creek, California area, and camped out there. And I actually couldn't find the site the first time. And the second time, I went with my friend that was with me the first time, couldn't find it. But we ended up running into Cliff and Bobo out there, and Yamarone and Terry Smith, and they're pretty cool. But I kind of just let them be because I was new to it, and I was like, oh, they're famous. I don't want to be that guy that bothers him, So I just left them. And me and my friend did our own thing, really. So we couldn't find the film site again. So I ended up contacting Steven Strayford again, and he was telling me what, the days that the Bluff Creek would go out, the Bluff Creek Project guys would go out. So I ended up meeting Robert Leiderman the summer, I want to say 2017, maybe. I think it was 2017. And so I met Robert, and then I met Kip Morrill and Rowdy Kelly, Jamie Wayne, all those guys. And that's kind of where I met them and kind of got started on the being a member of the Bluff Creek Project. And they took me under their wing and taught me a lot of stuff and that I try to apply today in my personal research and life.
That is all. I mean, you couldn't find a better bunch of guys.
I agree.
You couldn't. The ground-based researchers, which are phenomenal.
And it's in the Bigfoot Mecca. Well, it is the place is ground zero for Bigfoot, really. And not only did they rediscover the film site, but they're really closely associated with finding Bigfoot because Rowdy was I think a fixer on the show, and he did scout for the show, and they're really closely associated with the whole Patterson Gimlin film, and I think that's a huge what they contributed to the Bigfoot community is pretty big, in my opinion.
There's a lot of innuendo there.
Yep.
That, folks, is an inside joke, just so you know.
Tate, is the site hard to get to from the main road now, or is the road paved pretty close to it now?
So, oh my God, there's a paved road you can take for only so far, and then the rest is dirt road. Then you go down, so you go to one paved road, then another dirt road, then another dirt road. Then there's another side dirt road that goes down the hill. And then you actually park at this little berm area. And then the rest is hiking down to the film site.
Oh, about how much of a hike you think? I mean, estimate,
Maybe a mile.
Mile. Okay. Hey, dude, I can do that.
It's not.
I think.
The hardest part, in my opinion, is hiking back uphill. Because it's an old road that there was a rock slide.
Yeah.
And so you can only park your car so far. You used to be able to drive down to the bottom of the creek, but you can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to hike out the rest of the way.
But you don't really need a 4-wheel drive or a Jeep or anything to get back there, though, do you? I mean, if you're the driving part,
I'd recommend having a little height, clearance.
Okay.
I wouldn't take a smart car out there or or a Prius, but I mean, I've seen worse.
Hey, Chris is from Kentucky. You probably can get a Yugo out there.
Oh, dude.
I mean, you could. It depends on how well the roads are cleared. If there's giant rocks in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Now, what we're looking at, I believe, it was your 360 shot there, or your 180 shot, or whatever the heck it is. That is the film site there.
Yeah, that's what the film site looks like today.
That is the sandbar, is it not, or was?
So the sandbar is actually, if you kind of go to the right a little bit. So yeah, kind of looking right up in there. The sandbar is up top.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
but I mean, the original height is where the sandbar is, but it's all kind of eroded down.
Yeah.
So were the stumps that you see in the film in the original tree, the big tree, those stumps are up there on the top of the sandbar.
Oh yeah, they're in this area, right?
Just
Yeah.
got a lot of overgrowth over the years. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like
normal.
That's the thing. Like I mean, like when I kind of first went to the film site, I was hoping it would look somewhat like it.
Oh, shut up, Mike.
Hey, man, the little souls are cool.
I used to have one of those, and you know what? I used to get into a lot of places with that little thing.
Yeah, they're cool.
Hey, I will. Those Kia Souls are awesome. I'm not gonna lie. They're a bigger version of a smart car.
Until the engine threw a rod and blew my oil filter off the car.
The commercials where they had the hamsters or gerbils, whatever they were, that were driving. Hamsters, they were cool, man.
Trying to stop with the innuendo there.
Yeah,
cool. A gerbil innuendo really is an innuendo.
Yeah, it really is.
Dude, when them things first come out, quick story. When those things first come out, they were advertised like $12,995. So I said, hey, I told the old lady, hop in the car. We're going up to E-Town. That's a local Kia dealer. We're going to buy a Kia Soul. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, I want one. So we went up there. I said, yeah, I want a Kia Soul. You know, I saw you guys had them advertised for $12,995. You know, have you got a black one? And he's like, oh, no. That's just one car. And it's, you know, we sold that. We can sell you this one here for like 20. I'm like, what? We go from 12 to 20. I'm like, no, thanks, man.
You know what they call that?
Yeah, bait and switch.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely right.
Switch. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Prairie Fire. Hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome. Godzilla 2000. Oops.
Oh, great movie. Love that. VW Rabbit. Yes, those are very tough. Yeah. Front wheel drive, man, you can pull them right off in the lake, the back wheels, as long as you keep the front wheels on the
So now everybody's piping in their favorite vehicle. Bob just said Jeep all the way.
I actually have a Honda Ridgeline if anybody cares.
There you go.
Those are cool.
I have this running joke where it's like the Honda Ridgeline is the ugliest truck. I'm like, I wouldn't be caught dead in a Honda Ridgeline as I'm driving my Honda Ridgeline.
Yep.
It gets a few laughs here and there.
Well, it's like I'd never buy a Kia Soul, and I found myself driving one for like a year and a half.
Well, the funny thing is, I like Honda Ridgelines. It's just
me too.
People tease me like, that's not a man's truck. I'm like, I don't care. I like it. And so I just decided to have fun with myself and be like, you know what car sucks the most? Honda Ridgeline. What do you drive? Oh, I drive a Honda Ridgeline.
Prairie Fire says Opel GT.
Oh, yes. Oh, those are baby Corvettes. I love those. Is there a Mini Coupe
in the audience? Is there a Mini Coupe? Hey, hold on. If you have a Prius, you're out. No, I'm just Prius out.
No, dude, I'm gonna get me one of those electric cars as soon as we figure out how much they're gonna pay us to buy one. I want an electric car. Really do.
Bob Lemley says a Honda Ridgeline is just a Chevy Avalanche got wet and then shrunk.
Oh, that's not. No, that's it. I think.
Hello, John.
Whatever.
Oh man,
the Chevy Avalanche is nasty. My opinion. Sorry if I offended anybody, but that's the beauty about opinions.
That is. Everybody has one, and most of them are innuendos. So, getting back to what is your thoughts on the infamous October 20th, 1967 Patterson Gimlin film? What's your ideas on that?
I think it's legit. To be honest, you know, being to the film site numerous times and seeing everything, and just I've actually met Bob several times and interviewed him at the film site, and you know, knowing all the key players that have been involved working to find the film site, and they know so much about it. And I think it would be I think it's legit. And I think to hoax out there would be quite an undertaking. And why would you do that out there? You know, it doesn't, in my opinion, I just think it's kind of too much to fake. Why would you go through all that trouble?
Well, if you do read Legend Meets Science, Dr. Meldrum devotes an entire chapter just to the Patterson-Gimlin film, and it's very hard not to believe in the film when you hear the breakdowns of the muscularity and of the structure and of the. He even did a dissertation on the castings that were done afterwards, not only by Roger Patterson the day after,
and Bob Titmus, I think.
But then later on in the week, Bob Titmus, and there was another gentleman that came in, a forester. I can't think of his name. He came in a week later.
You're not talking about Renee DeHenden, though.
No. There was a forester that came in a week later that wanted to check the area out and found like 5 or 6 more casts.
I think I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
Yeah, his name is on the tip of my tongue too. But so it's very interesting that somebody a week later came down there, third party to the whole thing, and find more castings. Yeah. So,
well, like that's a thing too. And like, one of the things Jeff has talked about, like in the presentation I've seen, is Planet of the Apes. That film was in production in '67, and they had millions of dollars, I'm sure, back then, to make costumes, but it was more like the face prosthetics and everything, and not full body.
Thank you so much, Mr. Steenberg. That was the name of the tip of my tongue, Lyle Laverty. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, there it is.
Thank you, Tom. And welcome. We didn't see you in there. We didn't get
Welcome, Tom.
Welcome, Tom. We're gonna have you back on sometime soon. Eh?
Tom was awesome. I have one of his books, or a book he helped write. It's one of my favorites. I think the film is real, and to fake that, I don't think they even had the costume material to make something as real as that. And if it was fake, how come they can't if it's fake, how come they can't replicate the costume in '67? It's been what, like 55, 54 years, give or take.
Yep.
They still can't do it.
I don't buy the Philip Morris thing.
No,
I just
nope.
As far as like Bob Hieronymous, he sounds more credible than Philip Morris.
Yeah, but then he is like saying, "Oh, Philip Morris and I were to get in on it too."
Yeah, well, and a lot of people say, and see, this is the thing I don't get about Greg Long's book, and mind you, I think it was an honest effort by him. Unfortunately, he got involved with Cal Korff, who, he was a guy who loved to exaggerate things. He basically used a lot of his, some of his material, I guess. And Cal Korff will tell you he's the guy who solved the OJ mystery, and he was, he was making up a lot of stories. Called himself a colonel in the Israeli secret services, and then eventually he had to come out and say, "Well, it's a private company, so you're a security guard. You're a colonel in a security guard company." Yeah. That's basically what you're fine. And he would take pictures of himself like in this camouflage Israeli uniform with the colonel bars on him. He was wackadoo. That's who opened up Greg Long's book. So, if I was Greg Long, after all this stuff came out, he probably went, what did I do? But then you have this guy, Philip Morris, who, he sits there and looks at the film in '67. That's my film. Well, if I legitimately made that suit, what was the first thing I would do? I'd keep that receipt. That'd go in a safety deposit box. Yeah. That would be kept because that's a piece of history there.
Yeah. And then who has the suit? I mean, does Bob Hieronymous have it, or does Patricia Patterson have it? Or...
Well, yeah. The suit it's nowhere to be found.
No.
It's a very passing comment. Well, I gave it back to Bob, and that was it. You didn't take a picture of it. You didn't, allegedly he showed it to a bunch of people who came forward.
So when you recreated that thing for that TV show, Bob, you didn't want to wear the original suit that was in the original film. You had Philip Morris make you another one. Yeah. Which is what he did.
Well, according to Bob's story, I guess Roger took the suit, or Al Hyde, or somebody took it. Delatly took the suit, I believe. But anyway, but Philip Morris, Greg Long goes into this great dissertation of what a bad person Roger Patterson was based on this, that, and the other thing. Well, people didn't realize that at the time Philip Morris said, "Oh, that's my suit." He was in the middle of a copyright infringement lawsuit by the people that created Barney. A lot of people didn't know that. He was being sued at the time by the creators of Barney because he had this purple dinosaur costume.
Wow.
Which conveniently came out after Barney. So they went after him. So he was going to take a financial hit on that. So what's a better thing to, to kind of jack up sales a little bit or say, hey, look at me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's my suit.
And didn't he come out years after though Patterson died and
Oh, they all did, yeah. In fact, he came out. He came out after Hieronymous did.
But yeah, if you're so adamant that that's your suit, or if Bob was so adamant that it was him in the costume, why didn't you even start from the beginning?
Right. And why would you say that? Well, yeah, I say, hey, you know what? I made that costume. Look at that. Look how good that is. He fooled you for years, and then he would have made, and he, again, it just seems to me the whole thing was kind of ad hoc put together, and of course. Then of course everybody wants to pair Hieronymous and Philip Long together, and that, of course, then their stories build on one another's. But if you look at, and I think it was John Green who made that point many years ago. If you look at Bob's story, he said that it was a 4-piece suit, and you look at what Philip Morris said, it was a 5-piece suit. So they weren't even. Their stories didn't match.
Yeah.
Also, Bob originally said that the suit was made from a horse hide.
Yes, correct.
And it stink.
It stunk. Yep.
Yeah.
And Philip Morris, obviously didn't make a costume from horse hide.
No.
So.
No.
Yeah, he would have had to use what was it, Dynel or something? I can't remember the name of the. The fake fur. I think it was Dynel, but I'm not sure if that was available or not back then. Dang it. Don't know enough about the costume, really. Don't.
And then Frank said, did he also have the 1973 Schlock ape suit, too? I believe he did have some gorilla outfits. But they look like, the gorillas you see in the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was fixing to say, I've seen his gorilla costumes, and that was not Patty, okay? If Patty is a costume... His gorilla costume was not, that was not used.
Nope.
Trying to get us a little, I think I got one right here. Hang on. So when I do gorilla costume, there's what we have. Yeah, that's Patty.
That's a good one there. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then, of course, we have the infamous...
that looks nothing like Patty, though.
Well, yeah, the stomach is really... no. So, yeah. Wow.
That's very laughable.
Well,
jeez.
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything.
Part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Awesome.
So I just sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
Okay.
You still have that other one to use too.
Well, nobody demands a ban, but the beautiful thing about that one is we can always throw it back in there if we need to laugh again like that. I'm just, there is a little delay, so I'm waiting for the chat room to see that. I'm like going,
yeah.
But yeah, that's the extent of that suit.
It's fake. The suit that Philip Morris made is nothing like Patty. Patty's real in the story.
So here's an interesting thing. And of course, Judy, hello, Judy. And of course, Judy says this very facetiously. I can tell by the eyes in there. She says, that was a bloody massacre at Bluff Creek. M.K. Davis.
Oh my God. Don't get me started.
Yeah. You know what we think of that one?
Cuckoo.
The whole massacre theory?
I think it's cuckoo, like Cuckoo Puffs.
Part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Sorry, I had to put that one back in there.
Oh my
You
god.
know,
Oh, I can't bring up religion. I said God.
yeah. So let's look at some things on a fact basis. Is there a timeline problem with the Patterson-Gimlin film?
Yes,
There is.
very much so.
Now, what that problem is with the timeline, I have no idea.
I think that's one of the missing keys to figuring out the puzzle, in my opinion.
Right. But to sit there and come up with an idea because, and I think that's what kind of threw MK a little bit, so for a long time, I think he struggled with that. And then, boom. For some people, it makes the film a hoax because there's a timeline problem. And I myself have always, yeah, exactly, Tom. Which is it? Morris suit or Horseeye by Patterson himself. Long Blues. I agree. I have not read the entire book. I have read excerpts from it. I do not own the book.
Yeah.
But there are timeline. And somebody, I think, Judy, you have to be a little more precise. Explain, please, the timeline problems. There does seem to be some issue with how the film made it to the airport.
Yeah, because they were like, they filmed it and then they camped in the middle of the night, or they filmed it and went immediately and mailed it off to Al the Atlee, or what's going on?
So what the story was, and again, I'm very read up on this now too, because I've been looking and exploring that possibility, as Chris knows. Mm-hmm. But as the story goes, they filmed it at 1:30. Now, mind you, the pack horse and Roger's horse are gone. They tracked it for a little bit. Bob tracked it for a little bit until like up the hill a bit, and he tracked it till the point where he could see it, some wet stones where it had crossed over the creek and then into a wooded area. And Bob wanted to continue on. So Roger's like, hey, because he didn't have his gun. His gun was in his scabbard. His horse is gone. So this is now 1:30, 1:40 going on that time. Now they have to, now mind you, they had to find the pack horse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then they made the initial tracks, I believe.
Yeah.
So they find the pack horse and Roger's horse. They go back to camp, which is 2.5 miles out. They gather up their casting materials, go back and cast a couple of the prints. They know they got more, so they want to protect those. So they let whatever the case is. So then they come back to the camp, and then they drive in. Now, depending on which version, they either drive into Willow Creek first or they drive directly to the airport first. But according to the original story, they drove into Willow Creek first to Al Hodgson's store, where Roger made some phone calls, and then they went to the airport. Now, Bob was not familiar with the area as good as Roger was, but Roger was not sure if he believed he went to Eugene, and apparently there's a Eugenia as well, and he gets those confused sometimes. But apparently they said he went to Eugene, and what I believe he actually went to is the Arcata Eugene Airport, which is not in Eugene, Oregon. It's actually a little further away in, I believe, is it Marysville or something like that, California. So it's a little bit further out than even Eugene. Then apparently they went back to Hodgson's store again. Now, here's where the issue is by that time, it would have had to have been 9 in the evening, 9:30 in the evening. Was Hodgson's store even open that time of night?
Well, if they were friends, maybe they drove to his house and had him open the store for him.
Well, according to the story, he went to the store because Al had some boxes there.
Yeah. And
they took the boxes, they put in the back of the truck, and they went back to the campsite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, here's the other issue I have with the whole thing is, well, what did they do? Did they load the horses? Because did they leave their animals in the camp by themselves? Because now you're looking at, almost a 7-hour period of time between the stops and the driving and the stops and going back to the camp. It seems kind of would you leave your animals alone?
Maybe they left the trailer and put them in the trailer.
Maybe. So you have all this time, and then they go back and they camp there for the night. And then at 3:00 it rains, and the boxes got all wet and muddy, so they couldn't use those. So Bob covered them up with pine bark, and that's the ones Titmus had found. So it's quite a. There is a little bit of a timeline issue there. There's a lot of travel in that time, and if anybody knows the area, you got to drive down the Willow Creek, and then you got to go around and drive up to the airport.
It's at least an hour and a half to get from the film site. To get from the film site, driving to Willow Creek.
Yep.
At least.
No. And then you're talking about another 45 minutes to go up to the airport, and then 45 minutes back, and then you got to take the time to give it to the air guy. Now, I believe that somewhere down the road, somebody said that there was no flights. The flights were grounded out of the airport that evening. So that makes it even a little more disconcerting because of the weather coming in. But again, I don't have...
and it would be pushed, either the travel time now on modern roads, I don't think you could do it. And back then, those roads were not...
nearly
most of them were probably gravel.
No, I did hear the story that was one version. Then the story gets told another way, where they went to the airport first and then went. But it makes more sense that if they went to Hodgson's store, because how would they know that there was a film going to be there? So if you believe the story there, they went to the airport first. How would they even know? How would the guy be ready there waiting for that film to fly it if they didn't know there was a film?
Yeah, and Willow Creek is probably one of the, I'm sure back then, maybe one of the only towns you could probably call out from.
Right.
Before you get to even Orleans, I guess.
So, and you think about it.
Not Orleans, sorry, Eureka.
It makes a lot of sense that they went to Willow Creek first. Because let's say they went to the airport first, well, that made no sense. Because why would they go to the airport unless, and that would be, the people that believe it's a hoax would say, you see, they were planning on filming this. That's why they went directly to the airport. The guy was ready and waiting for them for the film, and off he went. And that's one scenario. But then you have another scenario, and unfortunately, they were told it both ways. There is a version out there where they went to the airport first, and there's another version where they said they went to Willow Creek first. And so I think that's where MK kind of started getting crosswired. Is it possible that they spent an extra day there before, is it possible they waited a day?
That's very possible.
And we're going to do this because we don't want people to come into the area, and destroy the site.
Yep.
If we say this and it comes out.
Because I think what that old log that was in the middle of you see in the film, that's not there today. And I think loggers went and took that out. So maybe they stayed there because, logging, I think you could get access to that film site by vehicle and log everything out of there. So maybe they could have stayed another day to make sure loggers didn't come in and, traipse around and mess up any footprints that they found.
Right. So it's, there's reasons, so unfortunately, and like I say, a story is only as good as a film is only as good as a story behind it. So that leaves a lot of questions for me. And that's why I think, but then you look at the stuff Meldrum has done and others have done with the film over the years and the enhancements, and MK had a lot of credit to do with that initially. There was Nassie, and then there was MK Davis, who had, done a great job of, stabilizing that film and bringing a lot of the detail out.
Quality work. Yeah.
But like I said, how did he go from there? I don't think MK Davis is an evil man. I think some of his followers are evil that believe in it because they can't argue convention with this, because the bottom line is, no matter how you look at it, you can say, well, the timeline doesn't add up. Yeah, agreed. But you can't go from one to the other and then say, well, it's because of that red. That's blood. And as somebody that has been a paramedic, has been to crime scenes, has been to people that have been okay, thank you, Tom. That flown out of Murray's Airport south of Arcata. Okay, awesome. Good. That's good to know. I make sure I got to write that one down. I'll put that in my little journal because I tend to journal now with stuff I'm researching. You know, I know you look at blood is not red for very long because blood has iron content. Iron, it begins to brown very quickly. And then, especially in water, after about 12, 15, 17 hours, it begins to turn black. And it looks like black sludge. Yep. Looks like oil. And that's what it looks like. I know I've seen somebody dead in a bathtub that bled out from a suicide. And that's what happened. Boom, they laid there in the pool and boom, it was black. And they had been missing for like a day and a half. And it was black. The water even amplifies the oxidation and the rusting of the iron in the blood. So yes, that's and it becomes very jelly-like, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's like oil. I've been there. So people are agreeing with me in the chat room. I don't know. The original film was left with Roger's wife. That's what the lawsuit was about. Not sure. I know there were copies. The original film is lost. From my understanding.
Yeah.
The original film was lost. I guess Patricia had a copy of it. Funny thing is, and this is very funny, Bill Munns brought this up, and I'm a holder of a lot of secrets, and I remember this. But when Bill Munns, who's doing a lot of great work with the film, he's layering all the copies to bring out the definition.
Yes.
And then he found like one of the original copies. And guess who had it? Eric Beckard. But the funny thing is, I knew he had it, or at least he claimed he had it.
Yeah.
Because he always said, I have a copy of the Patterson, and one of the original copies of the Patterson film. And I thought, yeah, well, right. Okay, whatever. He did. He did.
Sure enough.
Sure enough, he did.
No, I want to make sure when did Bill Munn say he found that?
Not entirely sure. I know it was on a Finding Bigfoot episode.
Okay, I was there then.
Yeah, right.
I was there for that.
Yeah. Right. And we had talked to him previous to that too. Chris and I privately. So we had known privately. Chris and I had known privately that he had found that film from Beckford's collection even before the filming of the Bigfoot show aired, because we don't, loose lips sink ships. So he said that to us in confidence. We keep it in confidence.
Yeah.
It wasn't our story to break, it's his. Right. So where he wants to break it, it's up to him.
Yep.
It's very, very, that whole film thing, and then the lawsuits, and and then we have the fake Bob Gimlin. People forget that story about the fake Bob Gimlin. Shortly after the film was made, Bob Gimlin had a falling out with Roger Patterson.
Yep.
And part of it, in reading all the material, it was because Bob looked at the film that Sunday, and he was the least enthusiastic out of everybody.
Yeah.
According to Bob. John Green was there, Renee DeHinden was there, Al Delattley was there, Roger Patterson was there, and Bob was there. And Bob looked at it and said it was so far away. I don't think, there you go. Munns also used John Green's copy as well. Yep. So Bob's feeling at the time was probably that's the reason why I kind of got left out, was because I was the least enthusiastic about the whole thing. But then come to find out that Roger was using a fake Bob Gimlin at these presentations.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew that.
That's a problem.
And when Roger was on his deathbed, Bob went to see Roger, and he apologized for that, and they kind of made their peace right then and there, days before he died. Thank God.
Seriously.
Yeah. But they used a fake Bob Gimlin, and it's like, wow, so you look at that thing and you're going, well, now I can understand why skeptics are so critical of that, because you look at some of these facts.
I think it was one of Bob's friends that busted him because he went to a presentation.
Correct.
The film, and when Patterson introduced the
Gimlin,
the fake Bob Gimlin, the guy stood up in the audience and said, "You're a damn liar. That's not Bob Gimlin.
That's not Bob
I know Bob Gimlin. That's not him."
That's when the big hook comes out and stays.
Yeah.
That'd be like me going on tour with Chris Farley and saying it's Matt Moneymaker.
It was pretty, you can't make this stuff up,
Look, trust me right there, son. There's a joke there. Tell me.
Oh man, busted.
That's so funny.
But that's a problem. That's an issue.
I'd like to see. I would have loved to. I would have paid anything to see Philip Morris take that suit into the shop in Mighty Shark, the barber shop on Coming to America. Yeah, I would have loved to see that
too, didn't you?
I watched a couple of days. I watched, right? And because the old guy would have been, is that velvet? Anyway,
David asked.
Poor Dave goes, fake Bob Gimlin. What? I missed it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. I know. I'll repeat it real quick. When Roger Patterson took this on tour, him and Bob Gimlin, the real Bob Gimlin, had a falling out. So Roger Patterson was using a fake Bob Gimlin at these presentations. So
true, this happened.
True, and it did happen. And even Bob Gimlin will tell you that actually happened. That was actually in the story. In his that big article he had a few years back, that 5 or 6 page article where he discussed, was it a curse, was it that, and it was one of the outdoor magazines that did it. I forget the exact name of the title. I know Mr. Steenberg knows the title of that article. With magazine, but I got so many things rolling in this coconut. To me, you look at some of that and it makes you go, ugh.
Yeah.
But then you go with the film itself, the science. To me, it's one of the few things where the story is more shaky than the science behind the film. A lot of times we get these pictures that, well, on Roger, it looks pretty good, but the story is garbage. And in this case,
maybe the film is real and they hoaxed the story.
Yeah. And usually it's the opposite way around. The film is horrible and the story's good. It's like, oh yeah, no. I don't know. It's like one of those things where we may never know what really, really transpired there.
I wish I could be like a fly on a tree to see what actually happened.
Well, to me, being at that site, you must have had that yearning there so much.
Yeah, you do.
Like, I wish I could have just been this tree over here.
You really think about that when you're there. I was like, what if I was just like an animal here, just like a little caterpillar eating a leaf on one of these ferns, or fir, Douglas fir, something like that.
Well, David, unfortunately, that's not true. The film is all you need. Leave out the drama and let the film talk. That's not true. You can't say that. And I'll give you a good reason why. If you take that attitude, then you will be fooled time and time again by hoaxers.
Mm-hmm.
Because hoaxers don't need a story. Hoaxers don't need a story. Hoaxers don't need a story. They can put out whatever. They can put CGI out there. It looked like the most convincing thing you can find. Where it breaks apart is the story.
Yeah.
And that's so you cannot be. It's almost like, okay, look at the crime scene, but forget what people say they did. Right? You can't do that. That's not a full investigation. You got to have all the elements. Now, to me, we do know this. We do know that they took a film. We do know that they stopped at Al Hodge and Soar in Willow Creek. We do know that they went to the airport, Murray Field, apparently, just south of Eugene. We do know that they went back to Hodge and Soar and got boxes. And we do know they went back to the site that night.
Film site, yeah.
Film site. So my question, my point is that there is a story behind this. Now, does it stitch together perfectly or flawlessly? No, it doesn't. There's some questions. Okay, big deal. You know, the whole thing about the fake Bob Gimlin. Is it pertinent to the film? No, it's not. That we can actually set aside because that happened post filming. Let's talk about what happened around in the filming. Trying to think what other pieces of advice, because a film is only as good as the story behind it. Now, the facts have been established that all these things did happen. With time, with ordinary, and it's kind of up for debate. That's what M.K. Davis got hung up on, and he went completely off the rails. But that's what you have to do in an investigation. You have to look at everything, because if I have somebody that gives me a film and their story's like, huh? Then they're lying to you. If you just look at a film, then you're going to be hoaxed and you're going to believe in a lot more that you shouldn't be believing in. And that's the difference between, what a bystander does and a researcher does. A researcher should need to know every little aspect of a film. In fact, when I get, I years ago, 2006, I was the Interstate Video Hoax, the Wisconsin Video Hoax. Man, I was interviewing these guys and I was calling them out as I saw it. The same thing with the infamous Sonoma Video Hoax, the Penn and Teller hoax. And I called it just like I saw it. After reading to witness had said to some of the investigators, I go, I know, and looking at the guy's account of it, I knew it was baloney. Look at the Bigfoot peeper pictures. Okay, if we look at those pictures on surface, oh yeah, I believe it. But then you look at the story behind it, and the story behind it was garbage. And eventually it led to the debunking of it.
Yeah.
Because, so you can't just look at a picture and judge it. You have to look at the entire thing.
Or someone who makes multiple hoaxes, then you can then all you need is the photo in that case.
Yeah. Todd Standing's Muppets.
Well. Yeah.
The Muppet. Yeah.
Kermit T. Squatch here.
Now, there it is. The film was developed at Ford Motion Picture Lab, 306 Fairview Ave, North Seattle. Now I thought it was filmed at the Cine Labs, maybe the same lab, but it wasn't a Ford Motion Picture Lab. Maybe it was called that.
Might have been called that then, Steve.
Yeah, it could have been. I know, because it was only in business. I think it was bought out and became that.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but yes, thank you. It's called research. You gotta look at every aspect, So OT's got a thing. A while back, I was assisting finding the exact site of multiple murders by the African country's military. The initial story gave us the village where it was carried out, but the people. Initial story gave us the village where it was carried out, but the people carrying it out. There we are. Turned out to be military. We got down to the you got to look at the story. If he did, is that what he's saying? Quick, when he says, "What do you think about Todd Standing getting a new show on Discovery?" I haven't heard of one. other than what's coming from his mouth.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah. Yeah, and he said, I believe he's been saying that for the better part of a year now. So, and I have my little wedge into the TV industry a bit, and my understanding is since Expedition Bigfoot, and they're kind of bringing back things of finding Bigfoot here and there. They're not looking for any more Bigfoot shows.
No.
Yeah. Which show was the Bigfoot captured on? Was that Discovery or was that?
That was Travel Channel.
Travel. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You'd probably be more likely to get something on Travel Channel in that case.
Yeah. Well, then again, with Discovery Plus, rating or getting commercials, is not as important because it's commercial free.
Yeah.
Now it's about subscribers. That kind of changes the game a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like he would do better on Netflix, to be honest.
I'd be better adept on BoobTube. Not YouTube, BoobTube.
Which is better.
His new show is called Todd Standing Alone.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's my favorite thing I've ever heard. Oh.
Yeah, Standing is advertising it, but my question is Travel advertising it?
I haven't seen anything on it.
No, if you know, and here's the thing: if that's the case, if they give that clown a show, you know, all I can say is, power to you, Todd, for fooling people.
And sticking in there. I don't know. Every time I see one of his footage, I mean, okay, in my opinion, I think he's pretty knowledgeable about the subject, but his videos and photos are fake.
And he's not really the greatest TV personality.
No, I mean, no, I'm just gonna say no.
How and if that's the case, how about them gloves in the back of the truck? The Bigfoot glove, the gorilla gloves in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know. He's so fake.
But anyway, well, we're having a great discussion tonight, and it's just flying along.
Quickly's got one. It says, have you guys seen the Patterson drawings floating around? Kind of questions his authenticity. I assume you're talking about the Bigfoot with the breasts. Is that the one? Quickly.
No, there's several. Actually, there are several pictures of the breasts. Absolutely.
I drew pictures like that when I was 13.
Some of them are pretty horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
Hang on. Let me just open up something. All right, there we go. Okay, so.
Well, anytime you bring up the Patterson Gimlin film, there's always a controversy involved.
Every time.
Yeah, because you have people, that are 100% that's a Sasquatch. Okay. I know, Tate, you might be one of them, and that's fine. That's fine.
You know what? I'm willing to accept that it could be fake because the timeline is sketchy, but at the same time,
that's the thing, man. You got people, that they're 100% that's a Sasquatch, and then you have other people say, well, it's 100% a hoax. We got to be maybe somewhere, some people in the middle. You
got to have a balanced view, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's page 100.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like a breast. It looks like a penis. seriously, it's too skinny.
Well, there are other pictures. I just don't have any of the other ones. But yeah, there are the breasts. But you know what? Here's the thing: those breasts look very similar to like a chimpanzee breast.
Yeah, they look like flaps.
Right, and if you look at typical primate breasts in like gorillas and in chimpanzees, bonobos, and orangs, they are not robust. The human breast is very differently for a primate than all the rest of the primates. So, and that actually,
it's actually easier on the eyes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But as you listen to Dr. Meldrum addresses that in the book as well about the breast shape, and he says that actually Patty's breasts are don't necessarily conform to your typical chimpanzee or exactly.
And that's the other thing. Why would you put breasts on a costume if you're faking something?
Right. And this was actually his drawing was actually a copy of another drawing. Again, Roger was a very good artist, from my understanding. So here's my question. It does look really bad because the book got published in 1966.
And then the film came out the following year.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. It was the William Rowe encounter. Which Roger plagiarized in his book. Absolutely. A lot of his books, much of his book, because I have it, most of it was just accounts from newspapers. And
what year was this one in? Okay, 64. Roger's been to Bluff Creek long before the film, so he kind of knew the area. And then again with the plagiarism in the book in 66? You said?
Yes, the book came out in 66,
and then the film came out in 67.
Yep.
I mean,
almost a year later.
I'm like saying, I mean, there's no reason to think the film couldn't be hoaxed since he's been to the area already, so he knows the area. I mean, I think that track was not taken too far from when the film was out too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions. A lot of questions. There's more. The deeper you look into it, the more questions you have about the story and some of the background behind it. It kind of reminds you of, if you think about it, and God, I don't want to even compare, but if you think about it, did Todd Standing take a page
from Roger Patterson?
Because if you think about it, Todd Standing came out with a website in 2005 talking about Sylvanic, the magical area that only Native Americans know, and that you can enter through a little hole in the cave. Of course, the government years later closed that hole up, so you can't get there, huh? And then all of a sudden, a couple of years later, here's all the boom, and a year after that, boom, and a year after that, boom.
Well, there's been a lot of science,
but the difference is Roger was wanted out. That's believable. But when you get one, there's one crawling up the hill, you can't hardly make it up. Or the first one was actually the tree being shook, and shaking the tree. And the second one was the thing crawling up the hill. Then you came out with the Muppet, and then came the other Muppet, and then came the gorilla face there. That one. And then all of a sudden, the gorilla face 2 years later began to blink, which didn't blink before, at least as a picture. And then we have now his father painted up, and that's who it is. It's his father in the movie. Very, very interesting. So we'll get off the topic of Todster.
Let's get back over to the PG film.
But you see that is a classic hoaxer. Boom, 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 boom.
There's been a lot of science done, and Bill Munns has done a lot of it.
Yep.
And he did a study, and I'm not sure if it's still on his website or not. The Munns report, but you can go check. It was dealing with impact tremors. And the way that Patty's parts moved as she walked, and the tremor from that, and it was really scientifically well done. And excuse me, Bill Munns is one of my heroes. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
And the way he did that study, if you haven't read it yet, you need to. It's really good.
You have you have the North American Science Institute, NASI, that their study on it. Then you have. Like I said, the stuff that M.K. Davis did. Then you have, Grover Krantz's analysis. You have Dr. Meldrum's analysis. You've had Jimmy Chilcutt look at the Patterson things. You've had, there's just so much. And then you have Bill Munns's work. There's been a lot of science and a lot of film expertise and people that have expertise in costumes and even from the tracks, you know, and you have Roger, or rather Dr. Jeff talking about that. I recently watched a Renee DeHinden a lecture by a conference I believe Daniel Perez was holding, and Jeff Meldrum was in the audience, and you know,
You're not talking
Renee,
about you're talking about when Renee like had a fit or something. Then
no, this was when Renee was talking, and then Renee, you know, yielded a little bit to Dr. Meldrum, who talked about the foot of the Patterson tracks. So, you know, and the mid tarsal break seemed in line with what he'd seen in other things. And I know where Meldrum and Renee had differed was over the Freeman stuff. Renee hated Freeman. Meldrum was actually a believer in Freeman stuff.
mm-hmm.
So we have a couple of questions. We got two, one from Tack and one from Mr. Steenberg. We'll go to Mr. Steenberg's question first. Has Tate and the Bluff Creek Project found tracks or any other evidence near the film site?
I found some tracks that, you know, I don't want to say they're, you know, Bigfoot tracks, but they were suspicious. But, you know, at the same time, Bluff Creek is an area that's frequented by a lot of people who are into Bigfoot. So
it could have been salted.
I think so.
Okay.
So,
what was the coolest thing that you have seen at the film site?
Good question.
I have two of them. Actually, no, I have three of them. And this, I've seen Bob Gimlin at the film site, so that was probably the top coolest thing I've seen. The second coolest thing is the really big tree that you see in the film, the original film, the Douglas fir, and then a smiley stump that you can see right next to Patty. So, as far as like the landmarks go, the big tree and the smiley stump in the film were probably the coolest things that are still at the site today, and that's really cool to be standing like right next to it.
Yeah, and if you guys got to check out the Bluff Creek Project site, the YouTube page, because it's got a lot of videos on there, a lot of cool stuff that you see.
That would be so cool to take a photo, like standing next to that stump and you going like this, and then overlay an image of Patty walking there.
You know, one of the according to Daniel Perez, because he's pretty authoritative on the film. You know, is one of many. I was able to obtain an interview with Bob Gimlin telling about the whole sighting and what happened at the film site in front of the big tree that you see in the film.
Wow.
And according to, I just said his name, Dana Perez.
Yeah.
He said there's no other film like that of Bob Gimlin. Because like Finding Bigfoot was there, but you don't really recognize anything when Finding Bigfoot was there with Bob. And so that's, to my knowledge and to his knowledge, that's the only film or interview of Bob Gimlin at the film site ever.
Yeah.
And so there's actually a full copy of it at the North American Bigfoot Center for Cliff. I lent it to him so he can just play it there.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
That's yeah, well, a couple of questions by Quick Witty. What does Tate think about the massacre theory? We've already kind of talked about it.
I don't believe it.
No. And yeah, had a hunch pushing it because it's the only thing that gets him clicks. And Quick Witty, if you haven't read Jeff Meldrum's book, Legends Meet Science, the first chapter was about Paul Freeman. Very interesting. I think you might, after the analysis of the tracks and what Dr. Jeff had seen, you might want to reconsider some of what you're thinking there. Because I don't see, he's saying Freeman was a fraudster. But I don't see a lot of evidence towards that.
Some of the stuff is pretty convenient though, Steve. Meldrum shows up and just, hey, we happen to have some fresh tracks to look at.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
In fairness, even Meldrum said that.
Yeah.
But he also said that he didn't know he was coming.
Right. Yeah.
So, that's the other thing. I mean, you show up, and that was an old trick of mine. Show up when they're not expecting you.
Yeah.
That way they can't salt their property.
Right.
I would almost
exactly.
be like he was going to make cookies in the oven, not expecting anybody, and then they get there like, oh, I have some cookies for you if you guys want some. Just
We brought some milk.
And Tom, by the way, said that's good work you guys are doing there.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So I joined the project late, but I still did as much as I could.
Of course, now you've kind of relocated. And by the way, I think Dave Winter wanted to know, and I'm remembering your question there from a long time ago, Dave. What kind of guitar is that in the back?
This is a 1978 Rickenbacker bass guitar.
Ah, there you go. You got it, David. David said, "Is that a Rickenbacker back there?"
It sure. And I have a copy of a what is it? The John Lennon model. It's like a Chinese Rickenbacker.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
The
Musician, I take it.
325 model. Yeah, I am.
Bass or both, guitar and bass.
I'm not that great at guitars. I'm just mainly a bass player, but I'll play drums too, so I do that.
Very cool.
Most people into Bigfoot I know that are musicians too. It's weird.
Yep. and Miriam over on YouTube. Hello, Miriam.
Welcome, Miriam.
Always welcome. I'm glad you're aboard. It said that everyone at the local tavern in Yakima knew it was fake. Is that true? Well, according to Greg Long,
yeah,
he said he interviewed a few people that, but
according to Greg Long, according to Bob Hieronymous.
Yeah.
No.
if they're Yakima, then yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of people that didn't believe what was going on.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
I knew Freeman. He was human as you could not ask for a nicer guy, but for some reason on this subject, Ivan Mark syndrome. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could very well be. And you knew him, so you would probably have a better Tom. Next time you're on the show, which I really want to get you on soon.
Yeah,
I definitely want to talk to you about Freeman.
Yeah,
because you knew him. I never got to meet him, so
I want to hear. I want to hear what Tom has to say.
I don't have a read on the guy because I don't know him. Oh no! I don't know if this is too soon or not, but OT just cracked a joke in the chat.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 No!
No, we're gonna pass.
No! Let's not do that one.
No,
too early.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. Yeah.
Oh.
I got a quick throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Oh.
Ready!
Oh my God.
That's all right. That's about the best we can do for that one, OT.
I have a quick question. Can I grab my phone charger? I forgot my phone charger. It's almost dead.
Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We have to interrupt this broadcast.
Now we break for a commercial break.
Well, this has been, we could go like 5 or 6 shows about the Patterson Gimlin film. But the site, I want to go there, dude. I want to go there. Hopefully before I croak, I would like to go. But, that is such a long way from Kentucky. I mean, we're talking about 2,600 miles. Holy.
Oy vey.
Definitely have to have a RV. Definitely.
We do.
Are you Bigfooters thirsty out there?
This is the second
well, I
time
suggest to get a delicious, refreshing Snapple. Yes, even the most famous Bigfoot rush to the store to get themselves their favorite beverage, a delicious peach Snapple. No need to be cranky when you can just ask your loved one for a delicious beverage.
Got it? Joe, get me a Snapple.
And don't be in such a hurry. There's plenty at the store.
Get me a Diet Peach Snapple.
Try delicious peach Snapple.
Joe, get me a Snapple.
Okay, there we go. Time for our commercial break. The unofficial sponsor is Squatch-D TV.
That was hilarious.
I love this new file share thing. Makes things so much easier.
That kills me when Dyer takes a face plant into the fire ring there. I mean,
couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Why is it? Yeah, when you do something really screwed up, the whole world is watching. But 9 times out of 10, when you do something really cool, you're by yourself. Yeah. But when you screw up, the world is watching.
That face plant was the funniest thing.
Abe Del Rio. Hey, Abe. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, welcome,
he
man.
said there is something about magical about being at the site.
Yeah.
Oh, I for sure agree on that statement.
Yeah,
I would like to go there, and I'm planning on going there. Knock on wood. We'll see. But if I can get back, I think I can do a mile. Yeah.
Here's the fun thing is that in the next probably 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks, you'll be seeing. We are not going to have a show, I believe, in the second Sunday in April, maybe the third Sunday, depending on how things fall. I think the 18th or 19th we won't be having a show. That's because if everything goes well, Chris and I will be filming together in Kentucky.
Yay!
So you're seeing both of us on film together with some pretty hilarious shenanigans in Bigfooting. So
if we could get a cell signal back in the hill, I mean, we could climb one of the hills and maybe get a cell signal off of a tower in the next town. We might be able to do a show.
You know how that works, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how that works. So, but yeah, it definitely we're gonna have a lot of fun coming up in the next couple of months. Of course, I got the KCBRO expedition or the KBRO expedition. That's coming up, and of course, Tack and I are heading out to Ohio in May, so that'll be some fun filming out there as well. Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on. And we get more announcements coming as the weeks go by, but I'm just glad we've had. This has been a great, honest discussion, which I love. Is we are trying to be honest about everything. We can say the Patterson film is the most perfect thing in the world. We could say that, but it's not. Let's be honest with ourselves. There are questions that still need to be answered. There's questions that we may never find an answer for, but the bottom line is that we are, the more we ask, when we do get the answers, the better it equips us moving forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
so
exactly.
That's it. Thank you, Aaron. Chris, he already checked the date. It's 420. 420. That's funny. There's another innuendo there somewhere as well.
Oh my
God. But yes, good Lord. Good Lord.
Hey, David Winter's got a question for Tate.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. What is on your bucket list of things to do?
Oh God. One of the things on my bucket list is see Ape Canyon. I want to see that. Visit Falk, Arkansas. Home of the Legend of the Boggy Creek is another big one.
That's off my bucket list, luckily.
You got to stick your head through the picture and get your picture made there on the Sasquatch on the what is it at the store, Steve? Where is it?
The Monster Mart. Yes.
Yeah.
Then another one, a couple of other ones. I want to go to the Olympic area, visit the Olympic Project with Shane Corson and Gunner, and go out and see what they've got. And then was it the NWAC A or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so. NWAC. Yep.
Butchered the name, but over, I think, where is it, in Kentucky, or where is that at?
What? Where? What?
Part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
I have no idea.
I forget
Sorry.
where it's at.
I have no idea.
The one that Kathy and Bob Strain are involved with over there.
Oh. So they would probably be in Northern California.
Well, they're in Northern California, but the group they work with is over on the East Coast. I just can't think of the state.
He's talking about Crittenden.
No, that's Kentucky.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the Ohio Valley ORV area.
I knew the state, but I'm blanking now.
Well, see, David, that's where you're wrong, David. They have done some incredible nest work over there. And if remember, we had Shane Corson on a couple of just a few weeks ago, a month ago or so, talking about some of the work is. So I beg to differ. I think Olympic Project, yeah. You know what? 15 years of game picks of animals, wasted time. That's not wasted time.
No.
If
anything, that helps research in the area too.
Right. You
find out what time of year animals are moving through, and seasons, and and each year is different too.
And that's and Tom said, come up to British Columbia when the border opens again. That is, I would love to go up there.
Seriously.
Oh, the Washita Mountain.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
There it is.
A lot of people think, and it's kind of funny, but I have very targeted research stuff that I do sometimes. So it's like, I don't have my hands in everything a lot of times. Like, I focus on usually a topic or two for the week. And if it happens to show up on the show, it does. If it doesn't, then it gets filed for another day or another time. Exactly. So sometimes when
sometimes if it just doesn't happen.
Now, nest work is subjective. Well, that's your opinion, and of course, it is subjective. But that's your opinion. That's just putting the work in, David. Yeah, you just don't sit there and find Bigfoot.
I look forward to when they start submitting samples for eDNA.
Right.
That's what they should be doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only so much that you could point to a structure on the ground and say, "Look, we found a nest." Well, okay, now let's get some stuff out of the middle of it and check it for eDNA. Maybe that's coming.
I hope so. That'd be really cool. And if there are nests there, I think if it's made by Bigfoot and they're doing eDNA, hopefully that'll prove those nest theories true.
See, here's the thing. Out of the 5 tenets that I have of Bigfoot research, which has been my mission statement, number 3 is to tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. If you bust your pardon the French, you bust your ass trying to get Bigfoot evidence. If you don't get Bigfoot evidence and you find out that it proves something opposite to what you believe it is, you're still doing your job.
Score. Yep.
You've solved it. Okay, I know what these are. Time to move on.
Yeah, if it busts your innuendo.
Yeah. You bust your innuendo. That's right.
Just took a drink.
Good night, Abe. God bless you too, brother.
Thanks for stopping in, Abe. Good to see you, bud.
And David, I agree. eDNA will work when they get the hang of it. I 100% agree. It's expensive as everything new, but now look at, you can get your DNA done for $100 over at Ancestry. So it's getting easier, and eventually that technology, hopefully in the next few years, will be cheaper as well.
I want to do that Ancestry for my dog. I want to find out what my dog's parents and grandparents are.
And John made a good point. By doing that, you eliminate confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You get to question everything and selling your own stuff. Tom Steenberger, Tate, do you get heat from the Sasquatch community due to your name? LOL.
No, I don't get heat from it, but I do get asked if I'm related to that specific Bob. So
Yeah, it's my crazy uncle. That's my crazy uncle Bob.
I'm actually so happy I don't get heat from it. I mean, you know, I don't know how many Hieronymuses are in the Bigfoot community currently. I'm the only one that I can think of, but I could be totally wrong.
I think Bob spells his name like Harry Mouse or something. It's different from yours.
It's Heironymous.
Right.
Okay.
Mine's
Yeah.
Hieronymous.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, there's no Y in his name.
No.
Why? Because we like you.
Why?
That's so true. His is like hair mouse.
Oh, geez.
Show us the dog.
David says he wants to meet Todd the next time he's up there. Oh, God.
I mean, honestly, I kind of want to meet Todd just to see what it's like. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. You know, I wouldn't go in the woods with that guy. I'd probably want to kill me.
It's so true, though.
No.
Oh,
yeah, you probably want to. You'd go out in the woods. I wouldn't come back. Like, whoa.
Then
anyhow.
you say you're Bigfoot.
So what's you have any Alexander's starting stuff. Oh
no.
Oh, and David just corrected me. Todd Prescott, but he's from Eastern Canada.
Oh my God, that was funny. Alex, you're well misinformed, my friend.
Alex, that's funny.
And for our audio listeners out there, Alexander just put a bunch of crying smiley faces on the thing.
Alexander likes to tease me way too much.
But you know, I knew tonight was going to be a real fun show. Stroyford warned me.
Did he text you? That'd be so funny if he did.
That's another stop too. I'm gonna stop by and see Steven at his Bigfoot bookstore.
Yes.
If it's open, then I hope. Hopefully, all this COVID stuff will be behind us.
Yeah, I think they're open now.
I'm actually driving from Florida to Willow Creek in June.
Oh wow, that's a long haul.
From one corner of the country to the other.
Yeah. I'm by Miami, so that's like almost clear at the bottom.
Wow.
So basically from Miami to Los Angeles to Willow Creek to Portland, Oregon, and then back to Miami.
Wait, what's the weather in Miami right now? Oh, it's a beautiful day. It's 314 degrees today.
And a chance of humidity.
Yeah, humidity is standing at 236%.
Jeez.
Oh, you gotta love Florida, man. You gotta love Florida.
Except I don't.
Well, very, very commonly known that Florida is actually the Ophionoke Indian word for where the old people go and sweat.
That makes sense.
A couple of more questions. Oh, well, first, Tom says, I think I started something. Forgive me, Tate.
No, Tom, I will allow it. I allow Tom gets a pass.
And Miriam says, well, that time gas should be $10 a gallon. Ain't that the truth? Quick Witty asks, why does Meldrum still believe standing? He doesn't. And how is he still respected? I have no clue. Do you know why? We've talked about this before, Quick Witty, because television don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't care what's respected or not. It's what sells. And if a guy is controversial, guess what? And I've said this before on this channel. When I come out with a video that busts Todd's chops about some of his hoaxes, they are the most viewed videos I have on my channel.
That's why Michael Merchant does so good on those Expedition Bigfoot YouTube videos.
Yep. And you know what? The thing is talk about trolls. You're going to talk about trolls. Holy jeez. You know, not one of them give me a fact. It's always, oh, you're just jealous. No, I'm not jealous. I'm jealous. I haven't been on TV. Guy's got like 5 episodes of, or a few episodes of friggin' Survivor Man, and he gets his balls busted on finding Bigfoot. You know, the people who allegedly think everything is Bigfoot didn't believe in his Bigfoot. That's right.
Comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Sorry, I had to do that again. But that's the kind of stuff I get from the. Again, we're getting back to the standing thing. Thank you, Quick Witty. Anyway.
Todd standing alone. That was my favorite.
Okay, here we are. Where? Have you ever searched for the skunk ape?
No, but I do have plans to do so.
Excellent.
We'll see.
I'm just trying to be.
I'm trying. I might be hooking up with Stacy Brown, and people might say things, but whatever. I don't really judge people.
Yeah. Oh, and Keith goes, oh, Todd's dating Steve's man crush. The funny thing is that yes, people have accused me of that too. Like the trolls, the Stanling trolls. Oh, you just lie. You must have a man crush on him. Yeah, whatever. You know, these comments don't get on the YouTube channel because they're trolling. And that's what I put up there. Eventually, I said, listen, anybody who trolls is going to get booted, and if you want to argue with me on my merits, argue with me on my merits. Everything I've said is fact.
Yep.
And yeah.
Oh, chat room's funny.
Yes. So yeah. Really very interesting dynamics. You know, the same thing happened with the whole massacre thing too, as the trolls came out of the woodwork. And the funny thing is you know, I try to be very respectful of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I think MK Davis is a real nice guy. I think he's wrong. I think he's wrong on a few things.
Yeah.
But because I bring that out and say, I think, you know, he's wrong in this is the reason why you know.
Nothing bad about MK. MK's done a lot of work on the PG film. Sure has. And
but you see,
stabilized it, did all that work. That's great. It's just that one massacre theory, you know, I disagree. Simple. I'm not knocking him, for his abilities or anything. But.
Tom Seaman, the only person who has a crush on Standing is Todd Standing. Oh, that's great.
The truth of that couldn't be more real.
So, Miriam Guthrie asks, "What the hell is a wood booger?" I've never heard of that term. I have. You know, they call them wood boogers, swamp apes, skunk apes. What else? Hidey behinds, Momo.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many different hairy men, wild men over the years. You know, it all depends on your frame of reference, but you know, it's a very southern term, the wood booger.
Over in Cumberland County, Kentucky, they call them. There's supposedly some white ones over there. They call wild woolly bullies.
John Bush, wood devil. Yep,
Yeah,
heard that
wood
too.
devil.
Mountain devil. Skookums.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rougarou. Thank you, David. Oops.
Everybody, every community seems to have a name. It's
Tax says he's going to look for skunk ape tomorrow. Are you in Florida again?
Oh,
you in Florida?
He invited me, and I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to make it or not.
Who, Mike? Tax?
Yeah.
Good guy. He's one of my guys. Good guy.
He's awesome.
Yep.
Pretty good guy.
Yeah. Mike, you're probably going to look for a skunk ape on the beach.
There he is. He's holding a margarita.
Oh, man.
Zoomies. I've never heard of that. Zoomies I know is a store. Somebody asked about Kerry Arnold and Mark Newbill and their group. Oh my God. Miriam is on fire tonight out there. Todd Standing and Rick Dyer should get together and maybe start a show like The Bachelor. Wow, this has been...
that would be
like
good.
Dancing with the Stars, but like a Bigfoot edition, and Rick Dyer and Todd Standing were paired up. That would be worth watching.
With a rose ceremony and stuff. That would be...
Wow. Oh, Bush Booger.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's so funny.
Did you see Rod Dupree's comment? Put that up. We got to read that.
Tom did it again. Oh, no.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
Partner, we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Oh, sorry. That one just got me.
Oh, Rod Dupree's killed me. Put his comment up. Read that out. Let me read it off. Rod says, "Wood booger. That's what you get after many hours at the table saw." This is true, Rod. It's true. Yeah.
Well, now that I think about it, that brings a whole new term to this one.
Bush.
And John Bush goes, "I'm not sure if I like that one."
Oh, you guys, you're killing me.
Folks, if you're listening to us on replay or on audio, that's why you got to come into the show sometimes. Because sometimes we have a show where, we got a great guest who likes to have some fun, and we just let it fly tonight. And we do that once in a great while. And tonight's one of those nights. There's some nights we're right on point. And, throughout the show, I think we've brought up a lot of good points, a lot of educational things. But we like to have fun here, too. So we're glad you could all join us for this nuttiness tonight. We're not normally this nutty, but tonight it just seems like...
My face is hurting.
Yeah.
Oh, your face is killing me, too.
Oh.
Zing!
Oh, Steve.
He walked right into that one.
Sorry, it was just
too good. We gotta quit. Everybody's gonna start leaving.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
But anyway, it's time to wrap up anyway. Believe it or not, it is 5 minutes. It's 11 right now. So, but Tate, man, we got to cross paths.
That'd be fun.
So, but if you want to come up to the deck sometime and do a little squatching up here in the Adirondack, especially in the fall, you're more than welcome, brother.
It might be this summer.
Okay, let me know.
April in Kentucky.
You know what I'll do is tomorrow. When I'm off tomorrow, so what I'll do is I'll throw you my phone number too.
Sounds
that
great.
way, and you come up, give me a call. We'll get out and we'll do a little creature hunting.
Definitely, that'd be fun.
So, but man, it's been great. Obviously, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It's been, fun. It's always you're doing great work. You've gotten a good base. You got a good base of people that took you under their wing, and between all those guys, Steve and Rowdy and Kip, and you couldn't find a zanier bunch of people.
And they like to bust my balls, but they do it out of love.
Well, yeah, and that's the way it should be. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, I got a quick funny story to tell you.
Sure.
I think it was the 50th for the Patterson Gimlin film, and Meldrum was there, Bob Gimlin was there, like pretty much like a lot of people. And I can't remember who's taking the picture.
Now hold on, I got a quick question. This was the 50th where Bob was allowed to talk. Oh no, just kidding. Sorry, that's funny.
That's so bad.
That's a low blow. I'm sorry.
But anyway, I can't remember who took the picture, but Jeff Meldrum, Bob Gimlin, Cliff Brackman, and James Bubba Fay were taking a picture, and I photobombed them. When I got in the picture, I was like standing right next to Meldrum. It was pretty good. Oh.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny. My boss tried that today in the mall. We were just taking a walk, and that's what we do. Yeah, nobody's stealing around here. Let's take a walk. So we're taking a walk, and there's all these little kids there. The parents are all there trying to get the camera. He goes, "Watch this." And he goes, when he gets behind all the kids, he's like,
"Oh my god."
Oh Lord.
That's the type of people I hang out with. So anyway, well, I want Tate, I want to thank you for coming on. You're welcome anytime. What's tell us about your podcast?
So the Bluff Creek Project podcast, you can find that on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. So basically I wanted to interview a bunch of people who have either been associated with the Bluff Creek Project or have been to the film site. I'm kind of running out of people now, so I'm just interviewing who I can and getting some great interviews. I have some great ones lined up for March, so be on the lookout for those.
Awesome deal. And
Good deal.
We definitely want, you know what? Definitely, we got to do some cross promoting on that stuff for the channels. So we'll definitely let us know. We'll put it out there for you.
For sure.
So,
thanks.
So, but yep, it's 10:57. So, Chris, you want to do your thing before we take us out?
Again, I want to thank our wonderful guest, Mr. Tate Heironymous, no relation to Bob. It's been fun. And I want to thank our wonderful listeners and the chat room participants. Good Lord, you guys got some great questions. I love you guys. We got the greatest audience there is. Anyway, I'm partial. We'll remind you, if you're listening to us for the first time on YouTube, please hit the like, subscribe, share buttons. It helps us out on the search algorithm. You know, we don't like promote our stuff, and it really helps us, get found in the search. So thanks.
Later, guys.
Hey, and on behalf of everybody here, and again, we went a little over the top tonight. We only do that once in a great while. So we try to have a little fun every once in a while. Tonight was the night, just because it was that kind of mood. And I think sometimes we're all owed a little bit of levity and a little bit of fun. So
and
that
I slipped Steve and Chris $20.
That's true. That's very true. Yes, we, if it was 15, we wouldn't have said as nice things as we've said tonight. But
that's the only reason they had me on this show.
Yeah, he had to pay us. Anyway, Tate, stick around for the end of the show, because when we go off air, where you can still talk and stuff like that. So hang out. Folks, on behalf of everybody here at Squatch-D TV, we want to wish everybody happy, healthy, and safe week. Remember, social distance, wear a mask or not. No, please do. Keep yourself healthy. It's also respect to your fellow man. Anyway, again, everybody have a great week. And most of all, God bless and keep on squatching. Catch you all next week, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on youtube.com/Steve Kulls. Catch you all later.
Folks, you've been watching Squatch-D TV. Join us each week, Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, for the latest on the Bigfoot mystery. As always, we thank you for being our loyal viewers and encourage all to subscribe to our YouTube page at youtube.com/Steve Kulls. As always, have a great week. Stay safe. God bless. And keep on squatching.